they wanted a way to get rid of Dampare. From Asin North, they don't want Dampare. Now look at how the trend is going. Dampare, they don't want him, and it is manifesting, and it will go in their favor. A reverse psychology. Ekufuado is diabolic. Bawumia is dangerous. These NPP, they don't care who. They want to change Dampare. And at the end of the day, it will look more like Yenny Ghana for were calling for the head of Dampare instead of Ekufuado and Bawumia pulling the strings. Who wrote the letter and who retracted the letter? Dampare should release a statement and say he gave the instructions that the second letter, that is the update, the interdiction being taken off. It is he who gave the instructions. He didn't do it. And the police council headed by Bawumia, they came out and said retract it, because Bawumia does not want Dampare to lead in election 2024. Where he wanted to get rid of Charlotte Osei, how did he do it? He hid behind something called some people are against Charlotte Osei's their way of running EC. Some group of people, they petitioned the presidency. That's how Ekufuado works. Then the presidency went through the chief justice, who is Ekufuado's relative. They kicked Charlotte Osei out. And I'm going before and what time we buy it. Now they are doing the same thing to Eddie. They are doing the same thing to Dampare. Some people made some audio recordings, some committee. Now the issue is some people have directed that the interdiction should be taken off. Who are the people? It is the shadow hand. Ekufuado, Bawumia, they are the ones pulling Dampare, pushing him into this ditch. So whether we like it or not, we are playing the game they want. The Dampare they want to get rid of, we are giving it to them. Yeah, the Dampare chomo. Yeah, pam Dampare. The bidding of Ekufuado, but you news say Ekufuado's bidding. Who gave that 24 order say the interdiction should be taken off? That is what we need to be asking.
Whenever I say my PENDREAM TV there, I see them yopo.
At for a higher PENDREAM TV in Patchos and your first time and subscribe to channel no found Sabo. I don't manage to set a bear the video be a tour. Ube first person I share. Usha video new send a voice note to mine. I was 0277 128 777 0277 128 777. I be bo actually Ghana for you na. At for yanko share and a video number.
Now let's move forward. This one story too we need to discuss is very, very important. Dampare, Matis Ochna, Ghana Police Service, the IGP himself, Dampare will be meeting the committee in Parliament. Now, the AC Nano, I'm person with 5 minutes check be much Ghana for. We should not get this twisted. Plot to remove IGP Dampare to appear before committee on September 12. That's tomorrow. Mamenka Dampare asem we nyina mo nkyerem na Ghana for nya abotre ne hu where we are heading. IGP Dampare asema ekoso parliamenti ayesi police fobi ene eye bugri na bu akoye tape ema tape ne liki emende parliament eti committee a omuhwehwem. Now the conversation is simple. Obi a obeka safa asem we hu bia say IGP osa okọ adikudie ntia enkofonom koye audio no sa police for mienu na echi omo na omo keka nsem no omo nye bad policemen. Now in fact no more plot say omo be IGP. So you need to audio na so a ema NDT committee na. The whole audio was about let us plot and get rid of IGP. Now from Asin North and the idea say NPP4 they don't want IGP. Now the NPP continuously or consistently have proven after Asin North election na police focus share jumadi so fenchim ma election course no through their communicators and even their leadership no, you see after election can clear say they don't want IGP. Now at the end of the day deda yenye nyina o Ghana Yati committee no we are playing the game into the hands of the NPP. This whole thing of IGP in court. Who is behind IGP in court? Who at the end of the day is going to benefit? Say IGP kwa. audio now started this controversy, what was it about? It was all about IGP Nko. Now, it is looking like what the people wanted in Bugri Nabu's office is what is going to happen. Maybe in taking time to analyze this whole thing. We are all against the things that happened in Bugri Nabu's office. The revelations we had. So the revelations we were all against. We were all saying it is bad. Now at the end of the day, the NPP is playing that game that at the end of the day, the Omo Peno NSC Ghana for no IGP at the end of the day is going to go in front of the committee. The probability and possibility of IGP being kicked out of office is high, all because indirectly we have all supported the NPP agenda from Bugri Nabu's office, because the agenda started from Bugri Nabu's office, and the end game say IGP be Ghana I want to ask you a simple question. Who is the beneficiary to this matter? IGP, that's recordings, Bugri Nabu office. Who is the beneficiary? The beneficiary is the NPP. The beneficiary is Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia, who is the chairman of the police council. Ubega said, why are you bringing Bawumia in this? I'll show you. Into what we are doing, we don't know what it's heading. No, I am trying to let you understand. Say the plot was to take care of IGP. The plot was that IGP or the plot was say NPP policemen met in Bugri Nabu's office to plot against Dampare. Now, saying now we are against the NPP policemen who were plotting against Dampare. Why are we today giving Dampare out to them to do what initially they wanted to do? Because from the beginning it was all about plotting against Dampare. Say, see, I know you to be plotting against Dampare, me atam Dampare by to plotting him. And who is the beneficiary? The beneficiary here is the NPP. The beneficiary here is the Ghana government. That is Akufo-Addo's NPP government. It is Bawumia. It is Bawumia because there's something I see here. You pay attention to it. Now, say, some policemen have been interdicted. Ninyana say I interdict wa. I say ebi police ni asamaba. Ena uhuom yem pese sebio obede disrupt investigations a uhuom ebia wo tuo wakoma ba ebia onyonko police be a witness to ade a wo ye into akotena committee anim akasa wo ye say ebia wo nyoma bi a ebetumi wakoma soba ubetumi use it against obino. What they do is say you catch us say you interdicto ye ma unyoma privileges bi a wo no, we take it away from you. Send ye be ya ebia wo ye inspector wo ye COP untumi nya access to nyoma bi. Send ye be the investigations will be easy. Send about the investigations will be transparent. Into interdiction, and I say when you are interdicted, it is basically to help in the transparency of a particular investigation. So interdiction, no, it is not to say to help in transparency. It helps a process to be more transparent. It protects you, the person, and protects whoever is involved in the investigations. So when the Ghana Police Service comes out, no more say you interdict a police officer or police officers who were caught on taper. It is to the benefit of those police officers and also to help in the investigations to make it more transparent. The moment an interdiction is taken out, then it becomes opaque. Or because it be opaque, na afei nyoma bi shema nipa nsheda hu ni clear. Now this Dampare audio issues here akwako see. And akwako pie committee anymore parliament no. We were all here and it say the Ghana Police Service, they have sent an instruction out. Said say police for your interview more parliamentar your team voice will reduce no audio no, they should be interdicted. So when you read the document, this is what it says. Maybe BB, you know where it's heading. Now your Ghana Police Service releases statement way. You pay attention. I am showing you the plot. What the NPP, the Omamaya, it is going to favor them. The NPP, they have led us to a ditch indirectly. They did not lead us in person. We led their shadow. And they use their shadow. We follow their shadow without knowing they themselves. Sir, Omankasa physical being. NPP4 have led us to go and slaughter Dampare. Because Oman for physical being a buyer, Oman may follow Eddie and shadow. So you cannot say NPP the general way no more side way, but a NPP shadow. So they are leading us to where we didn't want to go in the first place. They are leading us to baby not in the first place they wanted to be. The decision they wanted to take, and that decision is manifesting through this investigation that yes, interdiction has been cancelled. Now, near here on the 7th of September 2023, that time na court a parliament committee no hearing a cost that police for the cancel. Yedaya de and the police for release statement to say the police service has interdicted Commissioner of Police COP Mr. George Alex Mensah, Superintendent Mr. Emmanuel Eric Jebi, and Superintendent Mr. George Lysander Asari in connection with the audio tape which has become a subject matter of investigations by Parliament. Almost any Tiana police for catch say police for bear and 9 omunyinano ya den ye de eye tabona to omoso if we say eye dwumadia ekoso Parliament no omudin omuhu bom yetia no be anim sankofo wi o eye police for the beka kire ye say sankofo wi omuhu bon insem na ekoso Parliament nim me ekọ na minim wo so ahwe me na onim eye police for na intelligence eno beka kire. The interdiction is to make way for disciplinary proceedings into their conduct in line with police service regulations. In terms of the kudientia, the tabuna to sa nipa 9 we usun nyina say send ye be abema pepe yo any omodwuma mu ye betuma sakre mu ehu adekotia adepotia omoye enu ntina police for tena ase dwene ho ehu say sa police for 9 ye osede no ye mfa tabono ento omoso into hwa police for Grace Ansa Akrofi, Assistant Commissioner of Police on an ensashase. That means he said this decision wasn't taken by co-minini policemen. It wasn't taken by corporals, and I said lance corporals, and I said even district police commanders. So this was taken by the police heads, right? This is the 7th. Now the same day, which is the same 7th, we got another release from the police. The same day, Anopana must say, almost transparency. Nipa na bi hu bom inti the tabuna to omo fo modwumanguo ne ahwehwe nsem no the same day and the police are releasing another statement the same day o their statement release here omo say update on police interdiction of the 3 officers after omo say omo say the update aba omo den sakra bia sabem and yes sakra ben omo say following the interdiction of COP Mr. George Alex Mensah, Superintendent Mr. Emmanuel Eric Jebi, and Superintendent Mr. George Lysander Asari in connection with the leaked audio tape, the police administration would commence disciplinary proceedings into their conduct upon completion of the ongoing probe by Parliament. I'm say, the echoes of Parliament, no, Omankasa di omuni 2 form, etie audio ni ade no, Omayama se sia and say. Sa tabono na omo to police for so ma say ye free so that the same day into omo pese Parliament for ye omo adwuma ansa na omo wi a omo adwene wo so omo yi omo de tabono ba beto omo so ana so omo fan to omo so. Remember, first time tabono to omo so omo say it was for transparency, to make sure say the process and the investigations becomes transparent. Say ne be ya pepe yo ene emu beda ho krojin. The same day, almost have a catch so almost say tabune free. If it's a tabune no you know, a beboma parliament ayomujuma. Okwasi or say in order not to prejudice the ongoing probe, the police administration has suspended their interdiction. Almost say you guys a prejudice, and I say prejudicial. You guys a prejudice. I say adiano what attain crampo and san yebeka seminal. You guys say we a prejudice, and I say prejudicial, and I say you are taking an action which is prejudicial prejudice. Ninya say wedding kebu asem ansana yebebu asem no. In terms of adikudientia omo sa tabunu ne free omo no say omo mpese tabunu no obde to omo so no ebebu asem na ansana parliament bu asem no. In the police ne person omo kire say omo action no omo take here no enye right. Action of interdiction that is supposed to bring transparency, no, it is not right. Action of interdiction and kabetu mama prepare yo aba down no, and you're right. Per se, be predetermine the case. prejudice. They don't want to predetermine. They don't want to determine the case before the case is determined. I want person omo be dia asem no ansa na di asem no. Intiesia no embra na also bu di so me di asem no fenchem no. Omo ye free wo parliament ndi na se na be ya omo no omo nyi tabo no free police for no so. Now the question here is simple. One day the Ghana Police Service released 2 statements. The question I want to say, what informed the first statement? What thinking went into it? I didn't in the comb because they gave the reason why I released the first statement. No? So who were the people who sat down to say, "Yeah, interdicting Kofu, we are multi parliament in him," and who again sat down and said, "Let us take the interdiction off." Let me tell you, Dampare, whatever is happening in the police force today, he has no power over it. Mahamudu Bawumia and the MPP, including Kennedy Munia, they all don't want Dampare. The reason why they lifted that interdiction that they themselves stated will help in the transparency in the investigations, it was because Oman lifted that interdiction now. What was going to happen? And they say we will get people at the end of the day committing themselves. Dampare would have been exonerated. The reason why we are saying Bawumia, who is the chairman of the police council, instructions, the first statement that came out, it came from the Ghana Police Service. The second statement that came, interdiction, it came from Mahmoud Bawumia and the police council, which Bawumia is the boss. What they want to do is say they want to prove to Ghana for say Dampare cannot be trusted. If they had not lifted this interdiction, Dampare will never come in front of the committee. Into Mahmoud Bawumia and the NDC, MPP, any Akufo-Addo, what they want to do now is they want to embarrass Dampare. They want to throw him to the dogs. They want Ghanaians to not to believe in Dampare again because all you're gonna need. Now, so we follow this committee proceedings, sir. You already have something in your head. Said Dampare is super corrupt. Dampare is not somebody who's supposed to lead a corrupt police department. And it does not matter what Dampare will say tomorrow in front of the committee, in front of Ghanaians. Dampare has already been judged. All that they wanted to do was to bring Dampare in front of the camera to embarrass him because Mahamudu Bawumia and Akufo-Addo, they don't want to enter election 2024 with Dampare as the IGP. Never. Now let me tell you, the idea here is they really want to bring Tiwa Adedankwa back. They want to use this committee to try everything possible because whether we like it or not, and today I was talking to my team. Do you remember any ex-police IGP boss? Do you remember even a regional commander? Before Dampare came to office, ultimately regional commander for the Greater Accra regional commander, you don't know him. Do you know the Ashanti regional commander? You don't know him. Dampare came into the police force and shadowed everybody. Dampare was able to buy the sympathy of Ghana for. It will take the hand of the executive to strip Dampare of that kind of respect na Ghana for man. So what Akufo-Addo is doing, he's working through the police council with Bawumia in the shadows to destroy Dampare to the point where Ghanaians will say yes, let Dampare go. That one, no, you will not say NPP did it. You will say that Dampare caused his own death. Then they will bring their own person to run 2024 for them. So what the NPP is doing is simple. From day one, you see audio biaba, you be say to Dampare, and then and there, so audio now we are against, we are today pushing Dampare into that same audio to make sense for Dampare to be kicked out. It is NPP, it is Bawumia, it is Akufo-Addo. They are using a shadow hand to sell what they want to us because they cannot come and tell us that they don't want Dampare. They cannot come and tell you, say, MPP, if you have realized, the MPP is speaking in undertone. They don't want to lead that campaign of Dampare should be kicked out. That is why a chairman of a committee in parliament, you are still sitting on the case. People are coming before you. He is quickly having a media tour, speaking about the case, prejudging the case. It would obi to say, attaching the chairman of the committee in parliament, why would you take the decision to go on radio to speak on a case that is before you? You have not even heard the IGP. Why do you think Atachia is having a radio tour? It is because they are preparing the people's mind that Dampare is already guilty before he's guilty. Inti Atachia, he sits on TV and that's what he does.
I was very much surprised because you see, when people have elected to testify on oath and on their own volition, they do not have any sword hanging on their heads that, look, I mean, if you come here and you tell the truth, I mean, the powers that be might interdict you. In fact, if they knew that they could be interdicted, they won't come and testify. So if we are not careful, you are on the verge of interfering witnesses, blackmailing them or intimidating them. Because if the other police officers who should come before the committee to testify, and we have this clear understanding that, oh, if you open your mouth now, you'll be interdicted, then the committee will be deprived of the benefit of witnesses who help us and aid us to come to the conclusions in terms of the findings of fact and the rest of it. So it was very, very serious.
Did we see that as more like an interference of the job of the committee?
No dispute about it. It was a raw and direct interference with what the committee was attempting to do. Because we depend on these witnesses to work. If you care to know, it is their testimonies that we are supposed to listen in total and get to some conclusion. The people who were purported to have been interdicted were in the middle, or if you like, the beginning of their testimony. Is it an attempt to blackmail them into keeping silent? Do you want to gag them with the fear of they being dealt with if they speak some more? And what is the interdiction supposed to achieve? When a committee of parliament has invited them, they didn't come to the committee on their own volition. They are obeying the powers of an arm of government as enshrined in the Constitution. A few people come to terms with the fact that when a committee of parliament is sitting, by the terms of the Constitution, they have the status of a high court. They can bring witnesses to the committee, they swear them on oath and the rest of it. So it was an affront to democracy that anybody attempted to, interdict the individuals whilst they were beginning to testify in the matter.
And then almost immediately, almost like 24 hours, we saw a reversal of it. Did your committee interfere in any way? Do you know what led to that reversal?
Well, I think it dawned on those who took the decision. I don't have any insider dealing as to how the decision was taken. But whoever took the decision, and maybe the kind of public uproar that greeted that singular decision of interdiction, they realized that it was a very serious mistake, and they were good enough to reverse it. So far, I'm glad that they saw how serious the interdiction vis-a-vis the committee's work was. And they decided that they should suspend the interdiction. And it's good for everyone.
This is the most weak, dumbest argument I've ever seen. This is the most weakest. And it's all because they are playing a game that they want to gradually drop Dampare in the pit. But don't say Ekufuado. He's standing back there, Bawumia, they are back there. That's why they asked him, say, who actually at the end of the day, the first notice from the police by in 24 hours, there was another. Also, he doesn't know, he has no dealings there. So who took that decision up there? Because it's not Dampare. Because the Dampare wants the interdiction to be in there so that at the end of the day, the investigations ongoing, people will not be able to get access to things they don't have to get access to. People would not be able to interfere in the investigations because there's going to be investigations in the police service and also going on in parliament. So why is the committee chair in favor of lifting of interdiction? Add then in Kofowe per se. In Kofowe, you better restrict it. And I say, sir, right to be on the film because they want the people to come and do what? And give them the information in the presence side, just some police for. They want the people to come so that when they are writing the report, they will write in the report to say, the police officers. You get what I mean? These are police officers. These are not interdicted officers. These are police officers. They made this statement based on their confessions. We can say that Dampare should recuse himself for now for investigations to go on. Now they are handing the investigations over to OSP. They are going to hand the investigations over to an appropriate commission to investigate. So in the meantime, Dampare should step aside. Tiwa Adadankwa should step in and make sure say the investigations is completed. Dampare has been hanged. And what they are doing there, they have played it. You see, from the beginning, NPP for the set it side way up and they stayed away. Ekufuado Bawumia, they set it up. Mumusa the police force say, when I'm gonna show letter no, and when I'm gonna my instructions say omo any interdiction in floor. Also Busano quickly he moved away. Oh, I don't have any connection. You don't have any connections in the Ghana Police Service, but the president has connection there. The vice president is the chairman of the police council. So who gave the instructions that these things should be taken away? It is Bawumia, Ekufuado. They did it. So they have already set the trap for Dampare. Adena near say preventing no audio na buy na ye kun say we dey nye nkofo ye MPP for no. What has happened? And they say we have at the end of the day brought Dampare to the same plot. They no more can audio no. Today Dampare is sitting in there. They are going to do the damage. They are not preventing no. We at the end of the day, Ekufuado and Bawumia money MPP for no. They have used a shadow hand to lead us into the trap. They have used us to push Dampare into the trap, because from day one they didn't want Dampare to enter 2024 as the IGP and making sure say election akoso. They wanted a way to get rid of Dampare from Asin North. They don't want Dampare. Now look at how the trend is going. Dampare, they don't want him, and it is manifesting, and it will go in their favor. A reverse psychology. Ekufuado are diabolic. Bawumia is dangerous. These NPP, they don't care who. They want to change Dampare. And at the end of the day, it will look more like Yenny Ghana for were calling for the head of Dampare instead of Ekufuado and Bawumia pulling the strings. Who wrote the letter and who retracted the letter? Dampare should release a statement and say he gave the instructions that the second letter, that is the update, the interdiction being taken over. It is he who gave the instructions. He didn't do it. And the police council headed by Bawumia, they came out and said retract it, because Bawumia does not want Dampare to lead in election 2024. Ekufuado does not want Dampare to lead the police in 2024. Remember, Dampare came in after 2020 elections. Dampare just came in after 2020. Dampare's action, no, they are not too satisfied with it. They thought from the beginning they could have used it. They did things with him, but now they are beginning to see that there's some changes they don't like, and it's manifested in Asin North. So they want to make sure. And you know how Ekufuado operates. It is the same as when he wanted to add 6 regions to the 10 regions. He started free back. The way he wanted to get rid of Charlotte Osei, how did he do it? He hid behind something called some people are against Charlotte Osei's their way of running EC. Some group of people, they petitioned the presidency. That's how Ekufuado works. Then the presidency went through the chief justice, who is Ekufuado's relative. They kicked Charlotte Osei out. And I'm going before and what time we buy it. Now they are doing the same thing to Eddie. They are doing the same thing to Dampare. Some people made some audio recordings, some committee. Now the issue is some people have directed that the interdiction should be taken off. Who are the people? It is the shadow hand. Ekufuado, Bawumia, they are the ones pulling Dampare, pushing him into this ditch. So whether we like it or not, we are playing the game they want. The Dampare they want to get rid of, we are giving it to them. Yeah, the Dampare chomo. Yeah, pam Dampare. The bidding of Ekufuado, but you knew say Ekufuado's bidding. Who gave that 24 order say the interdiction should be taken off? That is what we need to be asking. You're still watching. With all due respect, Celebration. After this short break, we will take care of the last topic and then end today's show. We're live.
And in 8 hours up a dirt road into a region called the Afrin Plains. The farmers here could only modernize. It could be one of the great bread baskets in Africa. Rawlings attended a ceremony celebrating a $4 million gift of tractors from the UN Food Organization.
Saw it the other day at the ceremony. You sit with your head in your hands a lot. What is that? Fatigue? Worry? Regret?
Hiding do that, I suppose you wouldn't feel the man had a burden on his shoulders. If I'm impatient, if I'm unhappy, if you're getting that impression, it's probably because I know how much more I keep on saying that we're capable of achieving, you know. But how to mobilize it, how to get it organized, you know, under team leadership to bring out the best in our people.
People who still don't know how to take care of what they get. So talking to them, Rawlings was full of fire like the old days. A preacher, a scold.
Brand new tractors, brand new tractors. I'd like to come here in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years time and see how many of these tractors will still be on road or, beg your pardon, on the farms, functioning. What's going to be the lifespan of this expensive machine?
Seeing him this way reminded us of the way he looked 5 years ago when we attended a similar ceremony with him. This was what we saw back then.
I couldn't help but notice that in the boot you were wearing, in the top of the boot, you had a gun. Then, just a day ago, we looked at your boot again, and lo and behold, in the place of a gun, was a writing pen. Is there symbolism here? What do we make of it? And is the pen mightier than the gun?
Gee, I appreciate what you're making of it. No, they complement one another. Don't make that mistake.
But Rawlings also used to say that Ghana and democracy complemented each other, that democracy would cure his country's rampant corruption. Now, he says, democracy must wait.
Some of the students we talked to said he's a soft dictator. A dictator, but a soft dictator. Fair?
If I were, I wouldn't be as frustrated as I am.
But would people have a right to vote you out? And the party out?
I'm saying that we can vote people in and out. Personalities, okay? But my dear, what we need to do in this country is to establish a situation where even if it was the devil who should come and sit on top of us in Ghana, by virtue of certain procedures, certain practices, the devil cannot get away with doing whatever he wants. He will necessarily have to do what the people expect of him. I don't know if you appreciate what I'm talking about.
For channel a share video we also PENDREAM TV mpacho wa share wi adwuntwa bia wo fa video yi no ho bia no send man e wo 0277128777 0277128777 WhatsApp number no send your voice ne bra na bebo magana fo nyina te wonka
Dedi kama mamena PENDREAM TV ase. Na so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana. Ah nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, I PENDREAM TV.